It's another beautiful morning here in Ohio, and today I'm going to share with you 3 things that I made in my kitchen on the last Tuesday in April. I'm thrilled to be part of this collaboration being hosted by Fiona from Fiona In Her Kitchen. When you're done watching my video, be sure to check out her channel and all the other channels that are participating in this collaboration. Check out the link in my description box to see everyone who's included. Welcome back to my kitchen, or if you're new here, my name is Stephanie, and this is Ginger Snap Kitchen. I'm going to make some rice, which is not typically something I would eat for breakfast, but I'm going Asian style today. When I make rice, I rinse it very thoroughly. I usually do this 3, maybe 4 times to remove a lot of the excess starch. It definitely keeps the rice grains more separate from each other and makes for a fluffier and less clumpy final product. I have a rice cooker I've been using for a couple years, which was very highly rated, but I noticed that my rice was sticky and clumpy, gummy even. So recently I started making it on the stovetop, and it has been so much better. It's also faster, so it's definitely my favorite way to make rice now. So once I toast the rice in a little bit of oil, I'll add some salt and water. Then I bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, I reduce the heat to as low as it will go, cover it, and do not uncover it for about 15 minutes. And it's perfect. And during the period I'm waiting for the rice to cook, I'll go ahead and tidy up the kitchen a little, washing the dishes I just used and anything I found in my son's lunchbox this morning. Here's my finished rice. I'll just give it a fluff with my rice paddle, and you can see the grains are pretty separate, and it's very nearly perfect. Now I'll just serve up some of that rice in a bowl for my breakfast, and I'll add a few shredded carrots, along with a few slices of tamagoyaki, which is just a rolled up Japanese style omelet. This particular omelet was left over from dinner the night before. It just has a few sauteed yellow bell peppers and some green onions. Then I top that with a little bit of sriracha sauce, some sliced nori, which is seaweed, and some black sesame seeds. This really was delicious and not a bad way to start the morning. Since Tuesday evenings are the night we put our trash out, I like to look around in the refrigerator to see if anything needs to be used up. And I found some green beans and some mushrooms that needed to be used, so I decided to cook those up and see what I could make out of them for lunch. In the process, I thought I would try out my new vegetable cleaver, which was fun to use, but you'll notice I have a Band-Aid on my finger later in the video. While this recipe turned out to be very delicious, I ended up cutting myself twice, burning myself, and tripping during the process of making it. My husband said he thought it might be cursed, so I might want to stay away from this one in the future. Basically, I just sauteed my mushrooms and green beans together for a few minutes until they were tender. You'll see I added a little bit of water to allow it to steam for a couple minutes. Once they steamed for a couple minutes and the green beans were nice and vibrant, I added 2 tablespoons of gochujang sauce, about 1.5 tablespoons of oyster sauce, about 1.5 tablespoons of coconut sugar or brown sugar works fine. Keeping a few Asian ingredients and sauces in the house is an easy and inexpensive way to add delicious flavor and creativity to anything you may have in your fridge. I'm living proof. I added a little more water because it started to caramelize on the bottom of the pan. Then I added about 5 cloves of minced garlic. About a tablespoon of honey. Then finally I added about a tablespoon or so of reduced sodium soy sauce. And once that was all cooked up and mixed together, I served it with some of the rice I made for breakfast, and it was really delicious. I'm pretty sure this sauce could make anything taste good. For dinner, I decided to try to make Mongolian beef. This is something I've been wanting to learn how to make for many years, and I've never been successful until now. I sliced up about 1.5 pounds of lean beef. I put it in the freezer for about half an hour to firm it up, and then it was easier to slice it very thinly. Once the beef was sliced, I put it in a bowl and added about 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Then I tossed the beef with the cornstarch until each piece was fully covered. Then I added some oil to my very hot skillet and browned the pieces of beef. It doesn't take very long, so I was careful to work quickly. Another thing to be careful about is to not crowd the pan. This will cause your beef to steam or boil rather than sear. So I worked in batches, and once all the beef was brown, I removed it to a plate that was lined with paper towels. Next, I made the sauce by combining 1/2 cup of low-sodium soy sauce, 1/4 cup of water, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, about 1/4 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, about 3 cloves of finely minced garlic, a pinch of red pepper flakes, about a teaspoon of finely grated fresh ginger, and I gave that a stir and brought it to a boil. Once the sauce was boiling and it started to reduce, I returned the cooked beef to the sauce and allowed the sauce to continue to reduce and thicken for a couple of minutes. I got a little bit impatient waiting for the sauce to thicken, so I made a cornstarch slurry of about 2 teaspoons of cornstarch with 2 tablespoons of cold water. Just in case you don't know, you should never mix cornstarch with hot liquids. It will immediately gelatinize and create lots and lots of lumps. So it's always best to add it to cold water, make a little slurry, and then add the slurry to your dish. And as you can see here, it created a very nice glossy sauce for my beef. After that, I added a few chopped green onions, and I served it with more of that delicious rice I made earlier in the morning. I topped it with a sprinkle of red pepper flakes and some toasted sesame seeds. This dish was perfectly delicious, and I'm really happy I finally found a recipe that I could be proud of. Very good American-style Chinese food. I hope you'll try this one. It was incredible. Here I am adding a few things to the bowl to make my thumbnail. Thumbs up for the thumbnail, please. And maybe you'll subscribe for the recipe. The leftovers made a really good lunch for the next day. It reheated very nicely. So I spent a few minutes tidying up my kitchen, and then that was all the cooking I really did for the day. I made quite a mess of my kitchen while I was making this dish, so it took me a few minutes to get things back in order. Just watch. I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. I've always got something going on over here, and I always upload at least once a week. Be sure to check out the playlist in the description box below to see what everyone else made for this collaboration. And thank you so much again to Fiona for hosting it. I'll see you in the next one.
Don't forget to subscribe.